Get to go out there.
Is everybody cold enough? Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming out. Okay, 20 laps. Thanks for coming out. No prepared speeches here. We're just going to say a few words. We want to thank you. We want to thank everybody that's been involved in this project since it started. I can tell you, before I asked council to use this building as a museum, I met with Jack. Without Jack, it never would have happened. And I'm sure everybody here realizes that. So I want to thank him, especially the borough manager who works side by side with all of us, the borough employees, everybody who was involved. Dan Dargay, our master carpenter inside. When you go in this building, you're going to notice that it's what I consider 80% complete. The biggest room in the back is not done yet. There's a reason for that. This building was used for different purposes over the years. The walls that are painted were painted before. That's why we painted over them. The big room in the back we want to restore to its natural condition. That can be done with your help. And we hope that you feel the way we do, and this museum grows. So we've made it so you could see that room, and if you want to help us in the future expand, you're more than welcome to. Okay? We hope that this building represents a gift to the town, to the generations. And I thank you to those that were here before us. The 150 years of this town made it so great. We also hope that it serves as a tribute to Jack, who over the years took the time and had the sense to save the newspaper clippings and the artifacts and hunt things down and store them in boxes, most of which you're going to see in here today. So we thank him. A small part. A small part. There was a small group on the committee who was here from the beginning, and I'd like to introduce Ruth Eisenberg. She's going to say a word or two.
Hi, I'm going to make it only a word or two because I'm cold too. First, I want to tell you who was on the committee. In addition to Mayor Connors, I was a member. Pastor Don Adams over here to your left, Dan Dargay next to Don, and I guess and of course Dad Taylor. We worked hard to try to put this together. We're really the committee appointed by Borough Council to work on the whole Trainworks project. This was our first project, not the last. I also want to thank those people who are here from the Borough Council. Their support was invaluable. I saw Joe Seibert here somewhere. I don't see him now, but he's still here. Norm Ritchie, Chipper Farrow, and of course the mayor. I'd like to acknowledge Corey Gerhardt here from the school board and Larry Saravitz from the Packer Township supervisors. And if I missed any of you, I do apologize, but I'm short. I can't see everybody. I also want to tell you we had some refreshments after we're done here over in the tent by the side. There is also a logo contest that we set up there. We're asking everybody to vote for what they like best as the logo that was designed. There are slips of paper. You can write the number of the logo that you want and drop it in the basket there, because we want this to be a community museum. We want everybody's opinion on that. The other thing that's there is if you have items that you'd like to see on display at the museum, we have forms you can fill out. We're going to be doing special exhibits through the years, and we'll be happy to borrow your material and put it on display, so please fill those out. And now I'd like to turn it back over to the mayor.
And I just want to say a lot of good people donated money so this could happen. We've probably spent a little over $15,000 on the work we did inside this building already. That all came from donations, and it came from some fundraisers. Those people who donated, a plaque is going to be made and it's going to be displayed inside so that you can see that and acknowledge them when you see it. I would be wrong if I did not acknowledge Jack's family. They have been fantastic and have been helping us night and day. They've been here, making sure things were in order so that you could enjoy them. So please give Jack's family a big hand. They've been here for hours and hours. I'd like to introduce Commissioner Gerhardt to you. He's been kind enough to support us with all our projects in the community, and he'd like to say a few words.
Okay. Good morning.
As I was standing here, I was looking at the podium, and I was just wondering if maybe this was part of Jack's collection. It's certainly an honor for me to be here in my hometown of Weatherly. Normally anything I do is on the other side of the mountain, so I'm glad to be here today. I was a graduate of Weatherly Area High School in 1974, and when I was in school I played football, and I have a lot of memories here in Weatherly. Before football practice, we would walk down the steps and we would go over to Charlie Wheeler's. We'd get an iced tea and a pack of peanut butter crackers before football practice. Right down the street from Charlie Wheeler was my dentist, Doc Ravina. If you went down a little further down the road was Billy Wertman, the hardware store. And I remember as a young boy going into the hardware store with my dad, and I never saw a more disorganized place in my entire life. But no matter what you wanted, he had it. You know, my dad would ask him for nuts and bolts, and we'd go through the little aisles, and he'd have his baseball cap on with the pencil on top of his ear, and he put the things in a little packet and put it on the counter, and at the end he'd tally everything up, and you paid him, and you went on your merry way. Across the street was Mickey Garber. I got my hair cut there. We went into Figgis's store, into Hinkle's store. Saturday night, we went over to Link's bar, and my dad would get 2 pans of the square pizza. We'd take that home, and I lived out in Hudsondale. And on the way home, we'd stop at Figgis's gas station for 2 half-gallons of ice cream. And we'd go home and we'd watch Lawrence Welk. So now you know how old I am.
He is old.
That's a long, long time ago. But today, they were memories of mine. And today is a memory for not only me, but for all of us. There are a lot of great people who worked on this project, and as Ruth stated before, if I missed anyone, I certainly apologize. But I want to thank Mayor Tom Connors. I want to thank our borough manager, Harold Fuddliner, the councilmen and women that are here today, school board members, Packard Township supervisors, all of our guests that are with us today. It is a great, great day for the borough of Weatherly. I want to thank Jack Taylor. I call Jack a tremendous friend of mine, a great friend. Weatherly is certainly blessed to have a gentleman like Jack to save all of the memorabilia, to save everything that he's saved over the years. A lot of people would call it junk. But when you go in this building, you're going to see a lot of wonderful things that will bring back a lot of great memories. So once again, I want to thank you for having me today. It's certainly an honor to be here.
I'd like to introduce Jack's granddaughter.
Thank you, and it just certainly is such a pleasure to have been working with my grandfather and my family on this project as a Weatherly graduate class of 2000. I don't have all of those great memories because unfortunately many of which Tom had shared, those buildings are no longer here for my generation. So this was really an opportunity for me to be able to understand how the town was built and the passions that my grandfather had for the community, and it's because of all of you that inspired him and encouraged him to continue collecting and to make the history part of all of our lives. So I just wanted to share a few little words that we're going to display inside the museum. Just a story that when I was working with my grandfather this week, I thought was really interesting, and I wanted to share it with all of you. Jack Taylor started collecting historical artifacts of the Lehigh Valley Railroad in 1942, which was the railroad that passed through the Weatherly community. He was inspired by the many members of his family who once worked on the Lehigh Valley Railroad. Upon graduation from Weatherly in 1945, Jack was drafted for World War II and trained for the invasion of Japan. He had hoped to come home and find himself enjoying his years while working on the railroad, but the return of veterans left no available jobs for new employees on the railroad. Jack started full-time with the United States Postal Service in 1955. But it was in 1954 when Jack's uncle, Harry Yidy, master baker and bakery owner, passed away. Jack visited the home and found a gold-trimmed Weatherly graduation card dated 1892, with 8 names, including Lottie White, a great-aunt to Jack. This motivated his quest to collect Weatherly history, memorabilia, and artifacts. Since then, he has taken pride in learning about the discovery of the community and the businesses and industries that helped shape the town. Together with his co-pilot, the late Esther Romig, who was also the 5th generation of the founder of the town, Benjamin Romig, Jack converted bedrooms to dens and filled his home with my grandmother's favorite term, junk, he continues to collect and receive items from the area residents, past and present. His most prized possession is the Beaver Meadow Railroad Conductor's Report dated 1854. We hope that you take a moment to go inside and browse and let us know what's your favorite memory and your favorite moment inside. So again, just on behalf of the family, I've got my mom, Pat Kaler, one of the daughters, John Kaler, a son, Catherine Kaler, she's here somewhere too, my dad, Irv Ritchie, my sister Kim, Greta, nephews Robert, Isaac, Daniel, Timmy, Aunt Shirley, Mark, Rob is here somewhere too, my husband Matt, and Corrine. I'm trying to think, I'm looking around. Butch. All of us have been working day in and day out. Brian, sorry, I just realized that. But we've been working day in and day out to help him fulfill his dream to have this museum open and that he could be here with us today to be a part of it. So thank you again for all of your support.
One more thing before Jack says a word or two, we cut the ribbon. When you go inside, along the walls is actually the timeline of the town. So take a minute to look at that. There's also folders and books inside with Jack's collection and newspaper articles. When the museum is open, which will be open on the weekends, you're welcome to come by, sit down, take your time and look through it. So we want you to know that's all there for you to enjoy, and it's there for the town to enjoy years to come. Jack, would you like to say a word or two?
Well, I have one thing to say. My wife always said to me, what happens to me when I die? She says, I'm having a head pickled, so all your information will always be there. I'm often going to wonder what's going to happen after I'm gone. Who's going to be following my footsteps? 60 years of collections. And when I'm gone, who's going to continue with it?
Bam.
Well, nobody, so you have to stick around another 150 years. And remember, it's a work in progress. We thank the Hill Climb Association for providing coffee for you. There we go. Thank you.
Well, I couldn't tell if it was, where wanted to go or like about stuff. About stuff.
That is grandma.
I said since
Yeah.
It's locked.
since all I've heard, like the grandmother. Yeah, I mean, why? Like, I don't understand why would they think do they think that they should get all the history stuff and then just keep it stored up in their house?
Oh, okay. You have a wick. So how you just get them close together. About an inch apart. Appreciate you calling. Eventually burn up or what? Yeah, they burn it. Your lights got dimmer. Just move a little bit more. All right. We get it replaced. Oh, okay.
Oh, man. We're just studying back here in our corner.
Hey, what do you see there, Jack? How's it going there? I'm telling somebody well. And I'm
Trying to find something.
oh, you know where it would be.
You know what? I had a heat protector. Thomas had a heat protector that ran by heart. Yeah.
Good. 10 more years.
So I gave it to my cousin's son. He.
And you're the granddaughter of the gentleman who played the horns, correct?
Yes, I'm one of the grandsons.
Now, why did you decide to do this? I mean, I know your grandfather is really into it, but why would you do it?
For me, it was just the opportunity to be able to work on a project that's really near and dear to his heart for the past 60 plus years. Obviously, collecting all this history, wanting to share it, to tell the story. I also, as a resident, we didn't do raised here, wanted to learn the story, so I think of it as a tradition to share with the rest of my family.
Okay.
But my mother said to my father, I want to
Could you just repeat that?
they had passed me. You know what?
Why did you say?
It's certainly been a pleasure working with him on this project. It's been a dream of his for 60 years. So being able to work side by side with my grandfather, we so much to me, to our family, to the community. It's not big enough to look at the opportunity.
That's the kind of bad.
And I was born and raised here myself, so knowing the history, continue stories, and sharing the community here is important. Not enough people have been able to learn the history and spend the time, and I think the community needs something like this.
Well, it was my Bill Printed, he didn't need it. was built in 1983. So it's probably around 1960.
Other areas to
Oh, the Presbyterian Church.
How long did it take you guys to make
Well, still, if it's the 7th high school
tough question.
class, it would
Been a lot of
have
help, a lot of volunteer help,
been around
and I came together in about a month. So, going through, he's obviously 60 years of collection, we're bringing a lot of files, and a lot of boxes, and a lot of different rooms. So trying to go through and sort, decide what topics
warmer in here than it is outside.
what notes and tags, and how we're going to display it a lot of times. But I think we came together really proud of
Was it a lot of fun to have together?
It was. I learned a lot. I was a graduate in 2000. And I'd say the heyday here was when we were in the 90s to 1930s. So being able to learn about the theaters and the hotels that were once here, the tours of today, and it's sad that all of those buildings are no longer here. And all the opportunities and recreation things for the residents to do back then, I hope to see them back.
And what do you think is the next step now that you've worked this?
Phase 2, right? There's a couple more buildings that are on this property.
Okay. Can I first have you say and spell your first and last name?
My name is John Koehler, Koehler.
Okay, and you said you were the son of
Jack. Yes.
Jack, and all of this stuff in the museum belonged to him?
I would say at least 99% of what you see today is of my dad's collection.
Oh, can you just tell us a little about what's going on here today?
He's your
Well,
great-grandfather.
my father's been collecting history of Weatherly since the 50s, early 50s. And he's the kind of gentleman that collects everything you can imagine. Newspaper articles from athletes that played sports in town, all the sports teams, and births and deaths of people here in the community, and anything that happened in Weatherly, he would keep the article. The hill climb, any church, going on with new ministers. So it was, a collection of cutting newspaper. When I was growing up, we couldn't even read the newspaper because it was all chopped up, little columns cut out, and it's like, what was the score of the basketball game last night? I don't know. It's cut out, so you had to go sometimes and buy another newspaper if you wanted to read it.
Okay, and how did the making of this museum come about?
Well, it started a number of years back because my father has so much information. He wanted to, get it out to the community, and the family felt that it was something that needed to be done. So the borough here has been wonderful to my father, and we got a building, and now we, put most of his stuff, in here that deals with Weatherly.
Okay, and if somebody were interested in coming down and seeing the museum, what are the hours?
Well, the hours are probably going to be on weekends, and if they like to come other than weekends, it's going to be, they can call for an appointment.
Okay, do you have a number that they can call?
I do, I just don't know it off the top of my head.
The hours are Saturday 10 to 2 and Sundays 1 to 4. So you should say that on the Facebook page.
Saturday 10 to 2 and Sunday 1 to 4. Do we have a telephone number?
No.
No, not yet.
Facebook.
Facebook? Okay. I'm not computerized stuff.
What's the Facebook page?
It's the Weatherly Community Museum. Weatherly Area Community Museum.
Weatherly Area Community Museum. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And spell your first and last name.
Robert Yoka, Robertyoka.
Okay, and
my great-grandfather.
Oh, okay. Well, how does it make you feel to see a lot of your great-grandfather's collection of history of Weatherly?
It makes me feel really proud that he knew that all this stuff would be really valuable later on, and the sense that he knew that it'd be a good thing to have.
Has he told you a lot about the history of Weatherly?
Yeah.
What are some of the bigger things that he's told you?
He's told me about where things used to be, and he knows everybody, so he tells me what they do and how he knows them and stuff. And he always tells me about the trains, and I used to watch the trains with him when I was little when I lived here.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
Can I first have you say and spell your first and last name?
John, Koehler. We say Kohler the German way yet. You saw it's going to say Kohler.
Okay.
It's Kohler, K-A-H-L-E-R.
Oh.
Born April 16, 1927.
Okay, and how does it make you feel to see a lot of your newspaper clippings and belongings displayed in this museum?
Well, I was nervous at first, but I got really excited now that it's all done. All my kids and grandkids did a big job doing all this work here for us.
Okay, why did you want to display all this stuff so the community can see?
Right, because I saved it 60 years. I've been saving this stuff, and my wife always said it was junk in the house, and so I moved some of the junk over here now. And before I had to lay it all out and put it all away. Now at least I don't have to bother putting it away.
Okay, what are some of the things that people can see in this museum?
Anything you want to see about Weatherly, it's here. I could fill this place 10 times, 15 times. I don't have half the stuff over here yet, but we're working at that too. But anything you want to see, history, it's here.
But maybe you should give some examples, like Urana Park, the Silk Mill.
Yeah, we have albums on Urana Park, the Weatherly Foundry, the Weatherly Steel Company, the Lehigh Valley Railroad, you name it, Allen Candy Company. I have all the information on all that. And books of clippings from even people who worked and died in the place. I have the obituaries even in the books area. So.
Okay, is there anything else that you want to let the people know about this museum?
Well, we hope everybody comes and support us because we need support here to keep this place going. And hopefully somewhere down the line we'll be self-sufficient because the borough put most of the money into this place, and which we couldn't afford to do if it had been for the borough, you know. So we're hopeful we'll get some good contributors to keep us going here. Because one of these days they're going to charge us for power and stuff, you know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, thank you very much.